All right. Hello, world.
Hey world.
We have some familiar face here. Hello, Chris.
Hi.
Welcome.
Familiar depending on how when you joined Cloud Chats.
Pretty much. We'll just wait for a couple of folks to join in. And yeah, thanks everybody. Hi, Amanda. Hello, Florian.
Florian, what's up? Florian
Nice.
is a wizard on the Laravel team.
I see. Amanda is
Hi
our
Amanda.
partnership lead here. Cool. Hey, thanks everybody who's joining in. This is the season finale of uh, Cloud Chats. And we have a special guest, and this is like a deep partnership. So, welcome, Chris. Chris, you want to talk about who you are? What's your connection with DO and how things are?
Yeah. Hi everybody. My
Hey,
name is
Amit.
Chris Sev, and I want to shout out Chad. Hey Amit. Hi Adnan. Yeah, my name is Chris Sev. I currently am
Hey,
the
Mansi.
director of DevRel at Laravel. And before here, I used to work at DigitalOcean actually for 4 years. So, uh,
Woo!
yeah, woo, go Sharks. And I used
Nice.
to, yeah, I like was around at the beginning of the show's creation, Cloud Chats.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, how did you guys come up with the idea of starting
Yeah,
Cloud Chats, and how did that happen?
yeah. Well, I think so. My teammates that helped create it, Mason, Egger, and Matt Cowley, they like I think this was really big push from them. I was kind of like more focused on the YouTube game. We were trying to build up the YouTube channel at the time. It was like 5,000 subs back then. Um, so everybody was like making a podcast. So we said, look, let's make a show. Let's make a podcast, and it worked out. And I think you know, DigitalOcean has such a strong community of people that like love DigitalOcean, have read the tutorials, have read all the good things about it, and it was just a fun community building exercise, I think.
Nice. I mean, I know most of them who are familiar with DO come from the tutorial angle, but to be brutally honest with you, I got myself familiar through Cloud Chats.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
This is
My
full circle.
whole my whole intro into DO was like with cloud chats and what you guys used to discuss in there. And of course I came like there was like a marketplace integration that I worked on with the product team, and that's how I got familiar with DO. But cloud chats was my entry point, and it was not the tutorials. So
Interesting. Interesting. And you just found it how? Like just through YouTube or?
yeah, yes, just through YouTube.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um
especially because like the channel was still growing at the time. What's the channel at now? I don't even know.
we're 55K or
Okay.
57K or something like that.
Cool. Yeah. It was like early on, so I don't even think in my mind I'm like, oh, who's watching? We don't have that big of an audience, but like all it takes is one, right?
Yeah. We have Bleeb season finale. Yes.
Party.
But the thing is, we're not like taking it down completely. We're gonna come up with a renewed format. The team has been like actively working on it. Something with like right now, Cloud Chats is like at a weekly cadence, and so the newer format is going to be a much longer format, but more focused on very particular initiatives and demos and interesting things we're building around for the developer community. And the cadence will be like a little less, like probably once a month or so. We're gonna come up with something big. So do hang in there. We'll keep you updated, and do join our Discord as well. So you'll have all the information there. Cool. Um, so Chris, what have you been up to? How was your journey at DO, and then what are you cooking now at Laravel?
Yeah. What am I cooking at Laravel? What a question. I joined Laravel in January of this year, and I think we've done 6 launches since I joined. 6 launches, um, a bunch of small conferences. Our big conference, Laracon US, is coming next month in about 1 month, and I think you're going to be there, Abby, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm
Sweet.
gonna be there. um,
That's a
looking
big
forward
flight
to
for
it.
you.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'll need to
I,
go to like Detroit, and then I'm taking there wasn't a direct, my directs got like booked completely. But
yeah.
yeah, DO is gonna be a integral part of it, and we'll be there at booth 11.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the detail. You can check out laracon.us, book your tickets there. It's going to be a fun show. I'm really looking forward to all the
Yeah.
amazing talks.
I love Laracons. They're just like the hallway track at Laracon is, I think, the best hallway track. I think people are just so kind there. And this will be one of our, I think, our biggest ever Laracon. It's funny. I joined Laravel in January, and the first thing that I did was Laracon EU, which was in Amsterdam. So
Yeah,
like,
and you told me last moment, so I couldn't meet you. But
yeah, I had no time. I was busy at the conference. But I did get to like, I brought my whole family, two little babies, and my wife. My baby turned 3 years old there, so it was really fun trip.
nice.
But yeah, I have been at Laracon. We launched, or Laravel. We launched Laravel Cloud, which is a fully managed Laravel hosting platform. We launched new Laravel starter kits. If you haven't seen those, we launched VS Code extension, which is really big for VS Code. I think a lot of people on like the PHP world kind of lean to like that PHP Storm, which is fantastic, right? But get a little more intelligence on the VS Code side. We launched Laravel Nightwatch a couple weeks ago. A couple weeks ago, and Laravel Nightwatch is our observability platform for Laravel, like fine tuned for Laravel. So I can give a demo of that later.
Nice.
Um, is it PHP dead? This is the year. This is the comeback. I mean, it's slowly been coming back, but I think I think we're hitting critical mass now. I think there's a lot of people that are like, look, monoliths are cool. So I think it's a
Yay
really
to
fun time.
monoliths.
Yeah. I think it's a fun time to have joined Laravel because I think a lot of people are seeing this push back into like what I think is the most productive stack. And I think that there's just this push for PHP and really like, I don't know, everybody just wants to ship these days. And with AI, it's even easier than ever. So that's a whole topic on its own.
No, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and we've been it's nice to see like everybody is like up, and then like the cadence at which things have been delivered as well. Like we have an internal joke at like DO's like we're unable to keep up with all the amazing work Bratton, who's our chief product and technology officer, and his team are like putting it out, like features and launches week after week. Like it's just out there, and we've truly embraced the core value of DO fast, and we're moving right like a rocket ship.
Good. Yeah.
I think you
No,
left around what 23
end of
December
23.
2023.
Man, I got to go check my own LinkedIn. Let me check. I think it was, yeah, around December 23. Let me look. November 23. But
Uh,
yeah, so it was the end of, yeah.
I don't want to quote like a number, but there's easily significant amount of features that have dropped in from there. Like if you
I read something, I was
like if you
you
look at
know,
our product
I'm
updates
a,
here, you can see like 6-7 pages of updates since.
yeah. Well, I'm like, still a DO fan, DO shareholder, right? But so I was looking at like the previous earnings calls or whatever, and they're like, we've released like 370 products in the past quarter. I'm like, did they add a zero on accident? But it's like, really, you guys are moving. It's wild.
Yeah, and I think that's something that our chief ecosystem officer Wade, and he's going to also be speaking at Laracon. I think that's something that I think would resonate much well with the Laravel community on. hey, it's I know Laravel community loves DigitalOcean, but it's going to be the love is going to get much bigger because of all the amazing things that we've been doing and pushing things forward to upmarket ourselves and reach the digital native enterprises. And so I'm sure the community is going to be in for a great surprise and a positive surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's just gonna be like, I think everything is moving faster these days. I don't know if it's like AI acceleration or anything, but like you have a company that likes to move fast, has the skills to do it, has the engineers to do it. Plus, you're in this day and age, like it's just so fun to see. And Laravel is moving that fast. Like this time last year, I think the team was 6 people big, and I think we're at like 80 now. Um,
Whoa.
yeah, it's been really really fun. So yeah, I love the speed that things are moving these days.
Yeah, you guys are building some cool stuff, and I really like the Lara casts. That is that like someone else, like I think Jeffrey, but is he part of Laravel who's building Lara cast, or is it
No,
outside?
Jeffrey's been building Laracast as a side, not a side thing, but like as his own thing for I don't even know how long now, like forever it feels like. But Jeffrey, super big inspiration to a lot of people, I think, including myself. He's the reason I started getting into writing. I read all of his stuff when he used to work at Envato, and was big inspiration for me to start writing my own blog. So
It was pretty neat. Like I said, I do not have any background with Laravel or have not played with the
yeah, yeah,
stack, but I was like trying to explore and understand how the community isn't centered around, and the quality of stuff at Laracast was like, whoa, that's amazing. Like
yeah.
with the instructor led all these tutorials, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, and it's cool to see they're doing some really fun stuff. Like they brought on a couple new video editors. Their like animations are coming up. Like they're turning to a really really high quality, high bar. And they always were, but they're just getting that extra oomph.
And do they like provide like feedback into your product and engineering team based on their, because they're obviously top users of the
Yeah, yeah,
platform,
yeah.
right?
I mean, we talked to their team, but um, yeah, like I think the cool thing about Laravel being open source is that there's just a lot of people that have access to putting in PRs, putting in like community forums of talking about what can be improved, and just from the like core focus of it being open source, not only Laracast can put in input, but like everybody has that ability, which is really really fun. But it makes it like such a large surface area to listen to. But I don't know. I love the community because they're so kind every time they give feedback. So it's been great.
That's nice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, cool, cool, cool. Is there any questions? No. Yeah, at DO, like I don't know. Have you checked out any of our latest AI offerings that we've?
Not the AI offerings. To be honest, I'm like kind of waiting till a lot of the platforms get to more mature levels. I think right now we were waiting for a lot of people to be like, oh, look, here's how you can build on GPUs. Here's how you can like train your own models. Here's how you can just honestly access a model via an API, right? But I think this year we're moving more into a hey, I need an agentic building platform,
Exactly.
agent building platform. So what can people do there? And I think a lot of people are still trying to figure it out. So I'm kind of like waiting for a few months to see what shakes out. But I
No, for
think
sure.
DO
Hmm.
has something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah. So we have so this is how we approach like AI from DO standpoint, right? Like there are different layers to it. Like you have the bare metal
Mm-hmm.
compute, and then you have these H100 and those H200 powered virtual machines, like GPU powered virtual machines. And now we've also extended like partnerships with AMD, and we also have like these AMD GPUs that are so so that's like bare metal. And then you have virtual machines, and then as you move up the stack, you want more abstractions. And like you rightfully put, we need a platform where people can come in, build these agents, where you have all like single click model inferencing, you have these guardrails set in place. You can pick and choose which model do you want, how do you integrate it with the database, and how do you build this whole agentic flows. And that's how exactly how we're approaching Gen AI, building Gen AI, and we have a platform called the Gen AI platform. But there are also going to be a lot of cool features coming up shortly. But right now, you can check out the platform where you can build these agentic RAG workflows, which has serverless inferencing. I can probably like maybe like screen share and like just show you what like the Laravel community, like you can build your stuff there, but you can also integrate your agents on how like through DO, and you can integrate it into your apps. So that's a significant step forward for us as an AI first company, and that's exactly how we're approaching AI here.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm looking at the landing page right now.
So I can like probably like do a quick screen share and maybe just walk you through like how we're can you see the screen?
Yeah. Could you zoom a little?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have the Gen AI platform here, and what you can do is basically build like your custom knowledge base, and you can build these chatbots. Like there are multiple layers to it. So you can build your chatbot by uploading your private documents or integrating your database, and you build this knowledge base, and then you get this chat interface where you can actually ask, yes, specific questions, LLM powered, right? And specific
Mm-hmm.
questions. So this is one aspect of things, and that's available for you in like a few clicks, and you can pick and choose the latest models that you want. But the cool part is like we're all programmers, right? We want to have so what you could do is you can set these guardrails on your content moderation, and if you want like access to sensitive data that you do not want to be revealed, you can set up all these guardrails, and that's there. But what I personally like is the agent routing feature. So basically you can create these endpoints, and you can have those so if I go here, so you can set up your whole agent routing, and you can say, okay, for general questions it can reach out to an LLM, but let's say there is a specific question related to like your private database, and you have something very specific in there, you can create like these specific agents for that and just route them to get access that particular information. So we have that feature in it, and
Mm.
I think you're familiar with like the functions we had, right? Like so you can also integrate your serverless functions in here. So let's say there's a particular information that is unavailable, and then you want to make a function call, you can so set up these functions and make sure your agents are just routed and just invoke those particular functions for certain information that you want the functions to fetch and bring forward. So this way you're actually like simplifying the whole experience of building your agents.
Mm-hmm.
But and always, like always, we try to keep the DO simplicity in place in mind when we build these experiences out there. So this is something I think would be really cool for your community to check out. There is also like, yeah, we've created multiple agents that are running right now. Um, you can choose different models that you want. Let me go back and yeah. So what we
Sweet.
have here is like the serverless inference, and this is like a new feature that we launched. What this is let's say you don't want to go through this whole process of creating it like this, and you don't want to create that agent or chat interface, but you want to have all these calls to your models through code. So you can create these serverless endpoints
Mm-hmm.
and basically just hook them up to your client code wherever you're making. So let's say you have your Laravel application. People can just basically set these endpoints up with just a single unified model provider key, and then you can integrate that into your whole code and your application and just not worry about anything else. So this is one of the latest features that we launched. So I think I know you've not tried it, but I think if you, I'm curious to see if like your input and your feedback. So that's very important to us, right? Like I'm curious to see when you try it out, what do you think of the platform? What can be improved? What are the things that you like about? So that'll be really nice to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a couple projects that I'm working on, a lot of them AI based, but I think there's one in particular that I started that would be really interesting to take a look at this and have your input on it. It's Video Tap. I think you might know it,
Yeah.
but it takes a video, turns it into a blog post, turns it into like clips. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking like right now my blog writer is kind of on the simpler side. Like it's kind of a few prompts, but I would love to upgrade it, get some tool calling, do some searches, go grab real live links, go grab like generate some images. Um, so is that something that like the platform can do? Kind of like do step by step agentic tools and kind of build from there.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that with the serverless functions that we have, right? So you
Hmm.
can create these multiple server like functions and have them do your specific task that you wanted, but then you can construct the whole flow through the platform.
Yep.
So if
Cool.
let's say if you're not, I specifically I do not know if we support like image generating mods. I don't think so, but we do have like, this is where it gets interesting, and I get these sort of questions when I go to meetup and stuff. So, but we do have like one click hugging face model, um, where you can just with a single click set up like an like download a model and self-host that model on one of our droplets. So this is where it gets like
Mm.
hybrid solutions come into play, and that's where we are also having these multiple flavors. Like when you want the agentic flow, you go for the, but then in this particular case it'll be like a hybrid solution. Maybe I'm just thinking out loud here,
Yeah, yeah.
have this agentic flow but also this one click models where you want to do these constant image generation. But I guess in your case you're just making an API call to probably one of those models out there, maybe replicate or things like that, and generate these, right?
Yeah, so far, yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so the ultimately it's the cost, right? Like you need to see what's it going to take
Yeah.
for you to keep running these
I'm down
droplets
for
or
unlimited. Let's do whatever's the coolest thing for unlimited money. I'm cool with that.
yeah, I mean, so what's the state at which like video tap is in? For people who do not know, like maybe you can talk a little bit of like video
Yeah,
tap and
yeah,
what it
yeah.
actually does.
So this is a project that really all it does is it takes a video, transcribes it using AI, and it basically takes the transcript and then makes a blog post. And that's like from the DevRel side, like you know the drill. You take how you have a video, you want to like turn it into like a ton of different stuff, right? So I built this project in Laravel with Otto in the chat, and we built this in Laravel pretty easily, pretty quickly. Um, and yeah, the hardest part of it is like we're building it. We're like, oh, the hardest part is going to be like building the app. It's like, no, Laravel made that pretty easy. And then it's like, oh, the hardest part about it is going to be like the AI stuff. And it's like, yes, that's a hard part, but there's a lot of great tools like Gen AI platforms. Like there are a lot of good tools to access. The hardest part is dealing with the video itself. Like we're basically building uh, an app that is like tons of FFmpeg, and I'm like, ugh, this is not the app I thought I was going to be building, like video expertise. But yeah, so that's where we are. So that's why it's like good to have these things on DigitalOcean, um, where you can just say like, oh, I need to SSH into the box. It's using Laravel Forge, DigitalOcean, right? So that's like a really good combo to work on, I think. But yeah, hi
Yeah, I
Amanda.
mean, for me personally, what was like quite inspiring to see is how you guys picked up this tool, um, and then you turned it into a proper product, you monetized it, and you were able to like it was like really inspiring to see, because I saw it like how it started and how it got ended, like, or it's continuing. But the whole journey of it was like quite inspiring. Like you took a problem and you wanted to first automate your work, basically. literally
I wanted to
automate
be
your work.
lazy. I wanted to be lazy.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
All great
And then
products come from laziness.
perfect. That was quite inspiring to see, and how you and Otto turned that into like a product.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
nice.
So yeah, I mean, it's been hanging out. We've been using it a little bit, but it's getting to a point where like I would love to up level it and see where it could go. So I think
But
that's
how do
like
you see it when all these like the GPTs of the world are providing it, updating it as a feature, and they're providing giving it out of the box, and it's like you
yeah,
need to
no,
stay.
I think in the world of AI tooling and like everybody trying to build a SaaS. So if you're like trying to build a SaaS, I think if you are discouraged by AI can do this out of the box, like ChatGPT can read PDFs, right? There's a lot of these companies that are building that. Um, don't be discouraged at that because a lot of people aren't going to the lower level. Like I like to reference it back to coding maybe 10 years ago, right? Like anybody could have gone and learned how to code and build something, but they didn't. They just went and paid something that provided value for their time, right? And yes, it's easier to do it in the ChatGPT chat box to do whatever you need. They do artifacts, they code for you. Yes, it's all that stuff. But at the same level, though, it's still value for time. And I think the biggest thing to note when building AI apps of why people don't just use ChatGPT is integrations. That's your
Yeah.
moat. So, like, we can pull from video, like, we can pull from YouTube, basically transcribe all that stuff, and then say, hey, here's one click. Let me schedule out your social media and your blog post for the next week. It's like you can't really do that out of ChatGPT, right? So, if you build in integrations, which is kind of the harder part, one, you have a set audience that will jump into your product and they will be stickier because no, like people don't really leave Zapier once you have like 30 automations in there.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to
And
do
I
that.
think like if the value, if it provides the right value, I don't think people have a problem with paying. So
Yeah.
and if it saves time, and so I think like from personal experience as well, and what I've seen also in the community, it's not about the cost usually. It's about like what value it provides and how long. I mean, and that's why I think like the Gen AI platform that we have is kind of like simplifying that for people. Yes, people can build your own agents and have your own RAG workflows set up for sure. But like you said, it's about abstracting that away, complexity, and providing it in a way where people can just like drag and drop and then configure it from a console, and then you just have it there, and boom, you completely forget about it, right?
Yeah.
Because we take care of like maintaining it, and so you don't even know where it's running and all that. I mean, of course it's running on DO, but how it's running and how it's so
Yeah.
you don't
It's,
have to worry about it. So,
yeah. And I think just coming from like I find a lot of fun in building businesses and like seeing how to provide value and how to exchange value for money kind of thing. You know, like it's the creator economy, but it hasn't it's kind of been around since forever. Like some guy makes, you know, a wooden toy. Somebody wants that wooden toy. It's like there's still the creator, there's still somebody providing value, there's still somebody that has money, and there's an exchange. So
there's always a market. There is
yeah,
no
there's
for
always a
sure.
market, especially now that like we have the internet. It's easier to find your market.
Yeah.
So
You just
I
need
don't
to
know.
research at the right place. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. You just need to go to the right subreddit.
Nice one. Cool, cool. Do you want to like show us what you've
Yeah.
been building
So
with like
so
Laravel and
I yeah I want to show you some stuff that's so we just launched Laravel Nightwatch. If you're a Laravel developer, shout out in the chat. If you're not, this should be a fun demo. But basically, there's an app that I have that is hosted on DigitalOcean, and I built it in a weekend at my in-laws' house for the holidays because they were like, "You can't build something that fast," and I'm like,
good use of your time?
"I've got Laravel. I'm like just hanging out at this house with all the in-laws. Like, let's code." So let me share my screen. But yeah, we built this project and it's fun because once it worked, like all the kids are like, "Oh, let me play," and it was kind of like a really fun experience. But so if you add my screen to the Can you add my screen? Thank you. Okay, so this is a game that I built, twinpix.ai. Basically, built it over the weekend kind of thing. This is using Laravel and Laravel Livewire. This is Laravel and Laravel Livewire. But basically, it is like one giant file that can handle all of this stuff. So you have an image that's daily image of the day. I have a cron job scheduled to create this new one every day. And you write a prompt, passes it over to DALL-E, OpenAI's DALL-E model for image generation, and then it just scores you. So what this does is it basically says, hey, and you can go here, you can go to twinpix.ai, and hey, New York Times, if you're here, I'm looking for buyers. Just note. And so we can say what is that, a quail? Is that a quail? I don't know my birds that well. In space, in cosmic space, surrounded by, I don't even know what those are, bird people that are fuzzy and cute in, I don't know, universe vibes. So basically you create an image, and then you let this thing run, passes it off to DALL-E. DALL-E generates the image, and then it scores it. Pretty good. All right, what's my score? 65, not that great. Okay. So here's like the 90s.
It's not that bad.
It's not that great. Look, there's like 90%.
Oh, wow.
In here. Amanda, tell them. New York Times. How much traffic did New York Times have when it sold? Because we have, let me pull up Fathom. And this is TwinPix's traffic for the last 30 days. 58K, 200,000 views. Time on site is 2 minutes. Yeah, so New York Times, if you're here.
And it's running on a droplet?
Yeah. So I think it's like a $40 or an $80. I always confuse which droplets I'm on nowadays. Like for a lot of time, like I actually used to have a website called scotch.io. That's actually my entrance into DigitalOcean. It got acquired by DigitalOcean. It had 4 million page views per month, and it ran on a $20 droplet. So, yeah.
It was interesting because I met someone at a LangChain meetup yesterday, and he runs these hacker nights in San Francisco. And he was showing me his whole product of how he's automated the whole hacking, like hackathon experience, where it's self-serve. And at the end, he says, "Yeah, it's running on a DO droplet." I'm like, "Whoa, yeah. Okay." Yeah. And people like that's the thing also. Like people spin up the droplets, they build these things, and it's good. But here's where I think also the Laravel community, and particularly through like Wade's talk, will just get a refresher on there's so much more than droplets that we have. There's so much more going on behind the scenes to build and scale your apps, right? So that's where I think it's going to be like all the more interesting for the folks in your community and for the entire DO developer community. It's like there's so much more that you could do than just spin up a droplet. So
yeah. My camera just gave out. What are you doing? There you go. Yeah, no, it's. I think there's a lot of people with that story, which is really fun. That's why I like personally love DigitalOcean. It's like a lot of people are hosting a lot of things on just a droplet. So, yeah. So this is. Let me show you Nightwatch.
And so how do you install like Nightwatch? So basically.
Yeah. So Laravel Nightwatch. If you have a Laravel application, Laravel Nightwatch is sign up at nightwatch.laravel.com. It is free to start, free to try. There's a free plan. And you add on your Composer package. You just go Composer require Laravel /Nightwatch. And then when you host it, you run PHP Artisan Nightwatch agent. So you basically start the agent. When you run it, And that's it. Like once you have those two things done, it starts sending data to Nightwatch. And
So, okay, sorry to interrupt there. Like, just
yeah,
pardon my ignorance. So, you've spun up a droplet, or is that like through Forge?
yes, through Forge.
Okay. So you've spun up like your VPS server through Forge, and then you're adding Nightwatch as an integration or a plugin that just hooks these agents and retrieves the metrics and shares the data.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So yeah, so once you get the installation done, the fun part about it, like installation probably takes like 3 minutes. The fun part about it is once you get to the dashboard. And the thing I love about Nightwatch is we launched a couple of weeks ago, and what we're seeing is a lot of people are saying like, "Oh, I installed Nightwatch, and within like 3 minutes, I found some queries that were running for 10 seconds long that I had no idea." So we get you visibility into your app. So this is TwinPix Nightwatch page. So let me just run you down through some of the main things, like basically requests over the past 1 hour, 723 requests. And you can see like, I don't know if that's like large enough. Now we're getting too zoomed in. You can see all of the requests that happen every minute, or sorry, every 30 seconds. And there's like 11 requests there, 16 there, but like look at this spike of 400s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh no, what happened there? So let me like zoom in there. Did I zoom in wrong? Let me zoom in bigger. There. Let's try that. Okay, so this thing right
Underneath
here,
the hood, are you using like Prometheus from Stack Grafana, or is it like completely built up like from scratch?
I believe we're using ClickHouse to kind of like store a lot of this data. Abby test. Did I lose you? I think we lost Abby. Bleeb in the chat and Dolly Cuss. Yes, this thing is like $4,000 a month. It's brutal. But shout out to credits. I don't think I could pay this on my own. So we have here the number of 400s, which is 17,400 requests. So it's like, oh, what happened at 8:56 a.m. for all of this stuff to break? So we'll go to requests, and then we'll scroll down here. And these are the routes. So Livewire update, pick ID is the route, and pick ID runs for about 300 milliseconds, 2.54 seconds. This is the route where you actually call it to generate an image, and that's why like Dolly takes the time, so it shows slower because AI is
No, I
generating the image.
I recently built something similar, and then I used like Langsmith to set up like the observability for
Mm,
the LangChain, the agent project that I was working on. And that's when it's so important and it's very crucial. And I think for all those who are listening, and set up observability from the beginning.
yep.
Because that not only, like for me it did two things or maybe three. One, it's like I lost a lot of money because I ran the simulation overnight, and it was continuously making these calls to Anthropic, and then like
Mm.
got a hefty bill the next day morning.
Yeah.
And then when I was looking, said, okay, I'm like, okay, it's high time I do it. And I was set up Langsmith for observability. And then I realized that, oh my God, I actually do not even need to make an LLM call here. So that was like, so I because I had that information, and this is like a classic case of over engineering that you do, or like, and then you realize
I
that
know it
okay,
well.
you do not need it. So one, I was able to find the problem and disable that call. So not only are you like solving, saving money, but then the latency that you brought up, like every single time it's making that call, it was like taking me 4 seconds or whatever
Yep.
to get
Oh
back
yeah.
that. I'm like, you could significantly reduce this by
Yeah.
not making that call or making that decision in your code itself.
Yep.
um, so that's
But you
why.
have to know it's there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You have to know the problem's there. Yeah. And that's the cool thing about Nightwatch that we're seeing a lot of people say is I added Nightwatch. There's problems that have been there for years that I did not know about. So yeah, let's look into why there's like all these 400s. So we're seeing the 400s under an unmatched route. So let's click here, and it looks like spam. So good old WP includes if you're coming in from the WordPress days. Lots of spam. So that's like one of the cool things that Nightwatch can get you. It kind of shows you all the requests over time. It shows you any errors you've had, which I don't have errors. I write perfect code. But if I go back to like 7 days, you can see, oh, hey, there's something that happened on June 25th at 2 a.m. 1,900 exceptions at 2 a.m. Which is like, this is 2 a.m. I wouldn't have even known. So let me like view these. And it looks like there was some kind of problem with my database. Access denied for, I don't even know who that user is. So maybe that's also spam. Somebody trying to inject into my database or something, right? But I wouldn't have known that that was a thing. We also have scheduled tasks that you have visibility into. Yeah, night watch, the night guard. It's funny though, we did launch Night Watch at night. Not because like marketing really wanted that to happen, but the Night Watch team is actually based in Australia. The entire team, most of the team. We have a person in Japan, but a lot of the team was based in Australia. So when they launched, when it was their morning, it was actually like 6 p.m. for me. So we just made it like, oh hey, Night Watch is on guard. Let's launch at night, kind of thing. So let's see. The cool thing about Laravel is it could show your scheduled tasks, your commands, your jobs. And this is kind of where a lot of people say, oh, why should I use Nightwatch? It's very tuned for Laravel. So you have requests, jobs, commands, scheduled tasks, exceptions, queries, notifications, mail. And all of these concepts are Laravel concepts when you build them into your app. So like this scheduled task, it's a cron job, right? But I have it run at 1 a.m. So it runs next in 15 hours. And basically, let's see it run in the past. And then you get a full timeline view of what happened. So basically it happened, it ran a query, it did all of this stuff. And basically this is what happens when it generates a new image at the beginning of the day. So I can see 7 queries total. It took 73 milliseconds, how much memory it took up. And the total duration was 22 seconds because of Dolly.
Makes sense. I have a question.
Yeah.
So while you're programming, can you have these decorators or like introduce these traces into a particular function that you want to be traced? Is that possible?
Yeah, it's possible, but the cool thing about this is, let me pull up the project itself.
Because let's say there's a particular function that I want to see how it's doing, like I want to trace that. Is there any decorator that you add, and then that will just get pulled into Nightwatch where I can just click that function and see how that function is performing?
Yeah, so basically, I don't have any notifications or mail. Let me check. Let's do scheduled tasks. So scheduled tasks, all of these things are a specific concept in Laravel. So because you're using the concepts in Laravel, and that's basically, oh my gosh, I am in the wrong file. Where am I? I like have to look at this code base again because I haven't used it in forever. Here we go. As a command, basically, when it runs as a console command, Laravel automatically knows I'm going to bucket it into this thing. Or your notifications
Okay.
are a specific thing. You can say like, the cool thing about this is, let's say you have a user that's logged in. You can go like, you can go user is equal to auth user. So whatever user is currently logged in, user notify, and you can send them like a message, right? So as soon as you say user notify, it automatically drops it into this notifications
That's
section.
neat. That's neat. So
Yeah.
you're okay. Those are the buckets. Okay, this is lack of my understanding of how
Oh yeah, yeah.
Laravel is working, but that's pretty neat. Okay.
Yeah. So there's like other things too. If you need more visibility, you can log info, generating new challenge. And then if you go into the scheduled task itself, the logs will show up right above the timeline right here. And then you can start to see fine-tuned, like if you wanted to add more information, that all shows up. The other cool thing about this is that anytime an exception happens, it creates an issue. So like this was an OpenAI exception. You can also assign it to a person. You can assign it like to myself, and then you can say like resolved or ignored. You can chat. You can talk about it.
Because it's like hooked to your GitHub project, and then you can just.
No, so this is like its own separate task management system.
I see. I
Yeah.
see.
But there are talks of like integrating it into other places.
Yeah, that'll just
And
be like much simpler. Like if
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. So there's like this whole
I mean,
flow
I'm
that we're
saying
trying to get
simpler
to.
as in I know the implementation will take. It's not simple, but like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
experience is going to be simple. Okay.
Yeah. And the cool thing about this, I don't want to click it because it shows emails of users. But if I click users, it'll show you who's logged in, how many people are using. You can find your most active person that's logged in, lots of good stuff like that. And if I click on logs, this also handles all of the logs. So like you had talked about Gen AI platform having content moderation. This one, maybe somebody put in a bad prompt and it was filtered by um,
Yeah.
Azure OpenAI's content management policy, right? So
Yeah. We also have integrated one of Azure content policy and also the NVIDIA Nemo
mm,
content guardrails. So these have been like. I mean, you need to enable them, but it's available by default. Yeah.
great. Yeah. And like once you get up to the levels of needing to talk to like not even enterprise client, like small business clients, a lot of people care about training data and content moderation and stuff. So it's good to see.
This is pretty neat. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Nightwatch
now
I
becoming.
absolutely love. Yeah, the video tap, the one that I was talking about. Here's Nightwatch on video tap. This one's interesting um, because in the past 1 hour, there's like a lot of 400s happening here. Not sure why, but the cool thing about video tap is it runs jobs in the background. So these are all jobs that it runs. Trying to zoom in correctly. So this one can't even read it. Hold on. So like get subtitles from assembly. This one ran. You can see how long it ran. You can see like um I'm like what happened to my timeline? But you can see that a lot of the timeline is this request right here to assembly,
Yeah.
which is this giant thing for 4.4 seconds. And I scroll, and then as soon as that's done, then I get to the job,
Oh wow.
which doesn't even start. Where's my timeline here for the job? Oh, there it is. So there was like a delay for a few seconds. And I think I actually coded in that delay, like delay 2 seconds, then start
Just
this job.
okay.
Yeah. Um,
Classic old sleep command, eh?
yeah, yeah. Good old sleep. Yeah.
Sleep.
So yeah, it's just cool to see this much visibility into like what's happening in a Laravel app. And this is like a tool that I've wanted since I started on Laravel back in 2013 when I was like trying to host Laravel on DigitalOcean when I first started coding. So kind of really fun to see this come to fruition.
Pretty neat. Pretty neat. I think like that's something that we definitely like want to reiterate to all the listeners and people who are watching um to set up observability from the beginning of your project. It can be Laravel project or whatever project that you are, set your observability there.
Yeah.
It's very useful and it actually enhances your product as well. Eventually, it's gonna um, so
Yeah.
improve.
And like a lot of these things I just didn't know before. I had no idea. I would have had to go dig through some logs or server logs, and nobody likes reading those, right? So, um, do I not log anything in this app? But yeah, I think there's like a lot of things that you should know about your app that you just don't know. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Install and thanks, Laravel.
Next. Nice, nice. Yeah, it's pretty neat. So, and I'm super curious about like um, Laracon coming up, and I'm sure there's going to be some amazing updates.
Yeah, Laracons
Really
are
looking
always known
forward to it.
for some big updates, and I think there's Forge 2.0, which is if you're a Laravel developer, Forge is been around for years now. Really great way to host applications. That's getting a good upgrade. We had Laravel Cloud come at the beginning of the year, so it's really fun to be at a Laravel develop because we have Laravel Cloud, we have Laravel Forge to get you like either side of the hosting story that you want. We have Nightwatch, and honestly, Laracon just has a magic about it. I don't know how to say it differently. Like the people there are the best people to talk to chat with, and they're just the kindest. So, yeah, Laracon, July 29th to 30th in my town, actually, in Denver. So it's funny. I'm like,
I keep
oh,
forgetting
cool.
that you're not in Las Vegas anymore. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I'm not the Las Vegan anymore. Um, let's see. Bleeb. I'm always afraid that things like this slow down requests because logs are pushed to a remote service, and I hope it does not break my project when Nightwatch is down or something. No, Nightwatch won't break your project if it's down. Um, the way that it works is it kind of accumulates the requests in the background, and it pulls them together. And then it doesn't send it on every request. It basically pulls them together, and then once we find that there's like a good chunk to send over to the storage, we do that. So it does a really good job at not doing a lot of overhead to your requests. It does a really good job of not breaking anything if it breaks, when it breaks. But we actually had a fun story. A friend of mine, Matthias, who runs a company called GeoCodio, they have millions and millions and millions of requests, and we actually stress tested Nightwatch on them, and they were able to like add it to their whole suite of servers. They got some good observability. They found some pretty gnarly projects problems. So we have a blog post about that out. Really, really cool.
nice. Yeah. What we are like pretty stoked about, like the partnership. Shout out to Amanda from our side and Megan and team who have been like pushing this forward. And so we're really looking forward to this. That's why we named it like building the Laravel DO ship is um, we're just getting started and some big stuff gonna happen soon. So we can't reveal that yet, but we are super excited about what's to come.
Yeah. Yeah, same. I honestly am like, I'm personally happy to see DigitalOcean booth at a conference because DigitalOcean used to be at every single conference. Like, without fail, they were at every conference. So now to see the booth again, the blue, it'll be a little nostalgic for myself, and I think a lot of the Laravel developers that love started on DigitalOcean. So yeah, I'll be at the booth. I'll come visit.
I mean, we've been doing quite some conferences, and even like recent, even like today, a couple of minutes back, Matt Mackay, our VP of DevRel, also pinged me about, hey, what are the next amazing conferences that we want to be part of? So that's like we're getting back to that. We're doing like a lot of earned talks as well. Like I'll be speaking at a couple of conferences coming up, and the team has also been like speaking at multiple conferences. So we, we feel like we're back. Like it's like we just took like a step
and it
back to
and it's fun, right? Like
and then I
everybody
think
had
it's
COVID. Like everybody's kind of like figuring out the strategy.
yeah. And I think like also with our meetups program and wave makers and how we are like thinking about the global developer community, the shift has changed, and I feel really good about it. And so yeah.
Yeah, great.
Cool,
I'll
cool,
see you in a
cool.
month then.
For sure, that's partnership.
Partnership.
um, yeah, thanks, Chris. I just want to take like a step back, like, and thank some of the folks. So since it's the like the finale, and I'm sure like we started this year cloud chats like right after our flagship conference deploy in Austin, and we had 7 live viewers. 7, and we hit a peak of live viewers at 590, and we've been averaging of 434 live viewers every, like, we've done about 20 episodes since then.
Hmm.
So real shout out to the the sharks, the previous sharks who part of here, Jeff, Chris, David, and the current sharks in our team, Amit, Narsimha, Haimantika, Yash, Oliver, and so huge shout out to the DO team to put this, and the whole social team and the developer experience team has been helping us with the assets. And so we're just taking a step back, and we'll be coming with a new and a renewed version of Cloud Chats. So I just really want to thank every single viewer. It was really encouraging to see to grow from like 7 live viewers to a peak of 590 and like averaging at 430. So every time you're like, oh wow, that's like people are actually listening in, engaging. So it's been a quite a pleasant ride so far.
That's great.
And to
Yeah.
have you like to the one of the OGs who started Cloud Chats to bring you back
Yeah.
in and like close the kind of like the circle is like the icing on the top.
Yeah. No, it's been great to see. I'm glad like Cloud Chats is back. I'm glad you brought it back. Yeah, it's just, you built something and then there was like this lull, but cool to see it come back strong.
Sounds good. So thank you everybody. And until then, this is I'll be signing off.
Yeah. Thanks for joining, Bobby.
Cheers.
Cheers.